Hello, dear friends. What a blessing to be with you. Here we are talking about the book Green Light by the Spirit André Luiz through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. Here we are, another morning, another opportunity of learning. And today we will be talking about happiness. So this is chapter 26, and André Luiz will talk a little bit about how to be happy. Who does not want to be happy, right? Is happiness possible? Is happiness of this world? Well, we shall see. Welcome. It's always a blessing and an honor to be with you. So today we start with the words of André Luiz. He says, quote, "In terms of happiness, it's fair to remember that we always transform into what we most love." Unquote. First question. So if we transform into what we most love, the question for us is, what do we love the most? Are we working to love and care for the qualities and abilities of a spiritual being that is immortal? Or do we love those things that are of the flesh? So do we love kindness, compassion, empathy, service? Or are we looking for money, fame, idleness, enjoyment? There's nothing wrong with enjoyment, there is a balance there. So what are we transforming into? Because whatever you and I are loving most in our lives, the deeper central desire that André Luiz talks about in other books of his from the Life in the Spirit World series. So whatever we desire and love the most is what we transform into. So if we love happiness, we love joyfulness, that's what we become over time. When we look at something, he's going to talk in the last phrase, when it's raining and cloudy, do we look at it as a possibility of the harvest that is coming? Or do we complain that the sun is not out there? So we truly love and search for the happiness within ourselves. He will continue, quote, the one who accepts themselves in the way that they are, and give to life the best they can, will go forward easily to be as happy as they expect to be. Unquote. How are we today? Because what matters is today. We look back into the past to find opportunities for improvement, but today you are building your future life in this lifetime and many lifetimes. So today, are we able to see ourselves the way we are and accept ourselves the way we are? That does not mean we're not going to look at ourselves and see, I could have reacted better to this situation. I could have talked to that person differently. I could have sent that email or not. I could have stayed quiet or I could have called. There's always something we can improve because we are consistently and constantly evolving. But not only he says we need to accept ourselves the way we are, that implies self-knowledge, spending time, taking ourselves away from our daily busyness into a moment of reflection. What did I do? What did I say? What do I like? How can I improve? And we give to life the best we can. So we have to change the mindset that we are here just to enjoy. We are here to serve, friends. There is time for enjoyment and comfort and rest. just as the law of labor dictates. But we need to be more mindful of the need to give, how much earth has given to you and I throughout lifetimes. And now it's time to give back instead of taking, taking, taking. He says, our happiness is naturally proportional to the happiness you give to others. So, not a reason to give. When you give, let's say you are going from A to B and you find someone in between you could help, your happiness will be proportional to the much happiness you give them. They will be happy to receive the correct instructions. Therefore, you feel happy for being able to serve. And science already tells you when you serve, when you volunteer, when you take yourself out of a situation to help others, you feel happier and more blessed. Very often, the joy of your neighbor begins in your smile. So when we are walking around our day, we say the cashier's name, we talk with the person, we talk to them, with them, kindly about them, the person who cleans our places, the persons who do the jobs that are more invisible to us. If we go around our day smiling and giving of ourselves, that could make the difference, because maybe they were feeling down and unappreciated, and you came around and you were able to give of yourself in order to make someone else's day better, right? Because the chapter is about happiness. Another pro of wisdom, he says, quote, happiness can be seen, spoken, or even lived in the external life. However, it most certainly resides in the peace of one's mind, unquote. I'm going to spend some time here with you, because nowadays, with the amount of information and this curated view of others' lives, remember we have social media, not only we are sharing with others the best of everything, but also they are sharing with us a curated, they're selected images of happiness and perfection. So we can express happiness, and we should if we're happy. But he says it really resides within us. We can look good, but feel very sad in the inside. So when we are existing in this world with the body and the life we have today, with the resources that God gives us, we have to be mindful that not only we share the best, but also others are sharing their best. And we're only seeing a sliver of the reality. And that's when we truly feel peaceful in our minds, meaning we have our job fulfilled. We are able to say, I came here for this. This is my mission. This is what I want to accomplish. I did well. I treated others with respect. I'm redressing my past mistakes, but I'm building for the future. This life is not only about expiations and trials. It is also about building a better future that today we choose to speak kinder, to be more peaceful, to be more mindful, to serve someone else instead of spending the next few hours scrolling on social media. I can go down and find something useful that can be of service to humanity. Remember, the good needs to be courageous. And giving all of your time, energy, and resources to serve others in this world is courageous. The people we admire the most are the ones who give almost everything of themselves to others. Let's talk about the ones we know, Chico, Xavier, and Valdo Franco. But in the same phrase, we say, but they do too much. I couldn't do that because I have a life. We have to be courageous to say, I have a responsibility. God granted me this lifetime. Put me on this neighborhood with these folks. I need to give back here and now. And that's courageous because the majority of people are just going about fulfilling, and we do that every so often as well. I'm not talking about others, we're talking about us. It's you and I. This is for us. We have to bring these teachings from the page into our hearts and live it. How does this apply to my life today? Because the majority of people are waking up, hopefully going through some hygiene routines. They eat, they work, they sleep, and they repeat, unaware of the responsibility and the blessings of this reincarnation. So we need to work on that. He says, get to know of yourself by observing that self-awareness brings humility. And without humility, it is impossible to be happy. So when we go, unquote, when we go about our day saying, okay, I get stressed when, I get excited when, I get angry when, what are my buttons? What are the things that I'm putting myself into that I could do without? What kind of social circumstances that are more pressure than what my heart wants to do in terms of joy? Then we triage and we be careful and mindful of boundaries. You say, well, I do not want to spend all of my weekend barbecuing. I want to spend part of my weekend volunteering. That's a boundary. People are going to push against it, but that's you giving all of your resources to do something for the community. And ultimately, there's none of these things of individualistic lives. You are here today because someone took care of you when you were fragile and young. So if the community thrives, we thrive. If the neighbors, family, and kids thrive, we thrive. Ultimately, giving back, it's also giving to yourself. Fulfilling your duties, having the peace of mind, knowing that you are incarnated, but also acting as a citizen of this world, not just the neighborhood you live in, the country you live in, but the neighborhood you are in. He continues, love, quote, love is the force of life. I'm going to unquote in the middle here for you. Go back to the book After Death by Leon Denis. He has a whole chapter on love. And I've done a program on this before, so I'm going to link into the description box. That's Leon Denis in the book After Death. So I'm going to link that here so that you can go and watch about love. What is love? Not the cheap meaning that we say, I love coffee, I love chocolate, but true love, where at the center of love, the glue that keeps everything in the universe together is God. So even though our words, our vocabulary are inadequate to express the kind of energetic composition of love that comes from God, he says, love is the force of life. That's what nourishes you. That's what nourishes the ones you love. That's what nourishes the ones we are yet to love, the people we don't like, the people who we see some prejudice against. All of that. Love is powering us, the force, just like the electricity is powering the machinery I'm using to record this. It says, in work linked to love is the power station generating happiness. So it's really work, service. When you serve and work with love, when you infuse your joyfulness into what you do, when you go above and beyond your call of duty, when you go above and beyond your job description, your place in the spiritual center, your role in your family, when you go joyfully around helping others, it's this power station that generates the power that is bringing you happiness. And for perspective, he finished this chapter by saying, When the sky is cloudy and the rain is falling, think, what do you think? I'm going to stop here. Are we seeing the glass half full or half empty? He says, when the sky is cloudy and the rain is falling, think about the abundant harvest and the beauty of the flowers that will come afterwards. So when we are in difficulties, when we are yet to get that happiness, the sky maybe look cloudy and rainy, but those are the things that will nourish us, that will strengthen us so we can blossom into the loving, joyful, helpful creatures that we are. Deep inside, Jesus already sees you that way. It's up to you and I to actualize, mentalize, and make it happen in our daily lives. I hope that these teachings help you today. And if they have helped you or others, please feel free to like and share so others can benefit as well. Remember, the good needs to spread in the world. Let's be the ones who are spreading the good news of the Christ. And between now and next week, God willing, I'll return with you and spend this time with you for this study of another chapter of the book, Green Light by the Spirit, Andrea Luiz, through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. Have a blessed